Hi, folks. You're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. I've had a meeting cancelled this afternoon at sort of the last minute, and it's been moved to next week, so I've got some more time to annoy you all with my videos. This video is about, again, a subject I've covered many times about the ideological politicization of rape law. Rape law is at the forefront of the activist feminist, patriarchy, Nazis, and social justice. It's right at the forefront. In the radical feminist view, rape is something that even the act of consensual sex is a de facto rape. So the people that are around it are mostly lesbians that don't have intimate relations with men. So you've got to wonder, why they've got a thing about it. And of course, it's all ideological. There's nothing about actual rape or the law or anything like that. So I just want to talk about a case that's just come up recently where the prized scalp that the feminists really want is the middle-class white boys. Now, the trouble with that is that middle-class white boys don't go around raping women anywhere near as often as the black and the brown boys do. So, if you're in a country where the white population sort of 75%, then they'll make up 5% of the rapes. The other sort of factor here is that whereas the brown and the black guys tend to use violence to enact a rape, this is very rare with the white boys. So they've kind of changed the law to broaden the interpretation of rape to include some very technical sort of aspects. So, and again, I've covered this before, that if she has half a glass of wine too much, then technically they can argue that her consent, although freely given, that her consent actually isn't quite consent because she's not capable of giving it. He has to have full and total agency, 100% responsibility for what he does, but she doesn't. And by this sort of trick, well, she's not really responsible. She didn't really say it. She didn't really mean it. By use of that, they can then argue that, well, technically she was raped because technically her consent wasn't technically, allowed, and that ideology, and mumble. So that's as a. Now the other thing is that the burden of proof, they've kind of reversed it in a lot of ways, that he has to prove he didn't do it. And this is the same ideological gambit they use in like the divorce courts and this sort of thing. She says you're a violent, wife bashing, child abusing, no good Nazi. Prove you're not. Yeah, and so that's an ideological court. So increasingly, these rape courts are becoming ideological. And again, as I've mentioned, I know some judges and heavyweight lawyers and that sort of thing. And 20 years ago, the cases they were dealing with were murder and robbery and those sorts of things. Whereas today, the majority of cases they hear are rape cases. And so that just goes to show you how ideological the law has become. So anyway, this particular case, and I won't mention the name of the participants, but as I understand it, and I haven't read every single document that's in it, but as I understand it, this man had, I don't know how old he's, about 30, I suppose, a straight white guy. And he has consensual, and this part isn't in dispute, consensual sexual relations with a woman, three or four times anyway. And so her argument is, on one of those occasions, could have been more, but I think it was on one of those occasions, he did not wear a condom, and therefore, because she allegedly asked him to put on a condom, I don't know whether he even had one there, and and he didn't have one or didn't put one on, I think, which is more to the material point of this. Because he didn't put a condom on, it is therefore rape, because out of her requirements, there was one thing he didn't do, and therefore there was an element of non-consent. Again, quite a technical one, because she was consenting, but consenting conditional on the use of a condom on one or more of those occasions. but otherwise quite consensual. And she came back for more later, or that they had further sexual encounters. So so anyway, you think something like that, you struggle to get it to court. But now this is, as the best I understand it, this is a woman who has no history of being being involved in litigation, no knowledge or history of using courtrooms, no sort of comprehension of the very technical nature of the law. But somehow she is convinced by people, person or persons. She's convinced, no, you should take this to court. You should get this guy. You should get that motherfucker. Drag him into court. But it's going to cost me nothing. Doesn't matter. Everything will be paid for. You need to do nothing. Just do what we tell you to say. What we tell you to say. We will take care of all the costs. We will take care of everything for you, and we'll guide you along the way. We'll handhold you all the way. And there's all these angry lesbians buzzing around. You've got to nail this throat boy, fucking motherfucker, white boy. And so there you go. And so it gets to court. Now you'd think any prosecutor, Department of Prosecutions, given all the cases that they've got, particularly in this area, this particular jurisdiction, where there are a lot of cases where black guys are being dragged into court for rape, you'd think in this sort of thing they go, nah, this is bullshit. Look at the highly technical nature of the claim. She's saying that the sexual encounters were fully consensual. So the issue is wear or not wear condom, and we're going to use that as a launching pad to claim that a rape took place. You've got to be kidding me. I'm not even touching this bullshit. But no, the prosecutor, for some reason, who happens to be a left-wing ideologue, as I understand it, has decided to run with it for ideological reasons, one assumes. So it's got the look of it. The look of it is a very ideological pursuit of a straight white boy who they want to go after. So that's my interpretation of this, at least. So so it's going to come down to the wear or not wear condom, and that the definition of that wear or not wear can be transmuted somehow into being a rape. Oh fuck! And that's the level of technicality we're sort of going to go to here. But that's the case, and this is again anywhere you look on the white boy cases where there is no violence, there's no threat of violence. It's either it's consensual and this sort of thing. That well, her consent doesn't have legal standing. Sure, she gave a consent, but we're going to say that doesn't. Therefore, it becomes rape. So the exceptional technical level they go to try and prove a rape. Now, when you sort of go online to look at images that you can put on videos for rape, the propaganda is insane. They've got this. They depict this huge. The propaganda is always this huge man, massive man, and this tiny little waif of a woman. And that's the scenario and there's the implication is always that there's she's bruised and battered, and so was beaten half to death and then raped, which is the amount of instances where that happens is so rare as to be irrelevant. So they're doing that for propaganda purposes. That every one of these rapes involves serious violence, not just threat of it or holding someone down. It involves serious, have the shit beaten out of them type violence, which I don't. But I'm sure that must happen. But I can't. But why would you then have sex with someone after you've beaten them up? I don't follow that rationale. But anyway, so the propaganda is quite extreme in the area, and the propaganda, I think, is reflection of the intensity with which the ideologues pursue this matter. This, in my view, this latest case is nothing more than just another bunch of ideological fanatics using the taxpayers' money to act out their vengeful fantasies. You've been a Tacitus today at your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.